we're almost done with Sfirat Omer. A few more days to go. We're going to learn a little bit about the Sfirah that is called Hod of Malchut. And we don't have much left. Now, the whole week of Malchut, like I said, we're already talking about king, leader, and so forth. There's a saying from Chazal, from our sages, a Ma'amar Chazal, is Mi she'ra'ui liot melech, if a person is worthy to be a king, haketer holem oto, the crown will custom fit on his head. This is what our sages say. And the characteristic here is that the crown not only sits perfect, but it makes him look perfect. How many times did you go to a store, you put a jacket on, like as if it's tailored for you, or something you put on you? I mean, I don't put jewelry on me, but some people, they put a piece of jewelry or a hat, custom made. It happens to me sometimes. One time, I went shopping, and I don't go shopping so often. Usually, when I shop, when I go on my tours to America, I will take one day, go into some outlets, go in, out, and get my clothes for the rest of the year. And one time, I was in one of my trips, and it was already towards the end, and I was like, I need to find a day, I need to buy stuff. I don't have anything. I need to buy underwear and socks and shirts, and I couldn't find time because every place that I went, Rabbi, I need you for 5 minutes, I have a question. And the whole time where I was there, I didn't even have a moment. At some point, I was like, I gotta go buy some stuff. I went to some store. Hashem made such a miracle. I walked in. Within like maybe 25 minutes, I walked out. I had a full wardrobe. Everything that I needed was just there. Usually it takes you time till you find the color, till you find the size. This doesn't fit, that doesn't fit. I'm telling you, I walked in, walked out. It was like everything was waiting for me on the shelves. I just took one after the other, the shirts, the underwear, the socks, everything, chick, chick, chick. And of course, I went in, I put on a suit, I look in the mirror, this was like made for me. I go in, chick, chack, out. I'm telling you, 25 minutes, I bought my wardrobe for the whole year. So sometimes you walk into a store, you put a jacket on you, or whatever, a sweater, and it's like tailored on you. So our sages say, if the person is worthy to be the king, you will just put the crown on the person's head. It will custom fit the head and make the crown look good. Not only the king, also the crown look good. This is what our sages say. In Hebrew it says, Mi she'ra'ui liot melech, haketer holem oto. The one who's worthy to be the king, or supposed to be the king, the crown will befit him. Now, when we're looking at a leader, and I mean now, not only in the world, but here in Israel, we're going again into elections. We just had elections a month and a half ago. Now in September again elections. Now, they now going to waste more millions of dollars on all the campaign and everything. And I don't know if you notice, all the candidates, they're movie stars, making videos and all these commercials. And you looking at and you're saying, do I want this person to be the next prime minister? Is this a leader? Is that the leader that's going to lead us into peace, into prosperity? So when I'm looking at the person, I want to see if he has the characteristics of a king, of a leader. Now, I don't put any importance to a president, to a prime minister. I'm looking for the real king, of course, Mashiach, which of course we don't have a say there. There's no elections for Mashiach, Baruch Hashem. But nevertheless, when you're looking at the leader to be, you want to see if this is the right leader. Now, in the nation, so to say, there's a certain sense that you know who's the right leader. And I'm not talking about in politics, because politics is politics. But jump now a little bit out of the box, just try to go with the flow of what I'm saying. The nation knows when the leader is the right leader. We're in the Sfirah that is called Hod of Malchut. Hod, like I told you, can be Hodaya, meaning that I thank, gratitude. Hod can also be Hoda'ah, that I admit. Hod of Malchut, if you remember, we talked about Hod many times. This is a majestic glory. Hod is this beauty. Hod is when the king is fitted to be the king, he's radiating with light. Like for example with Moshe Rabbeinu, when he came down from the mountain, it says, Karan Hod Panav. The Hod, the glory, this shine of his face was shining. Why? Because he was the king. This is like a halo, a surrounding light, a or makif, that everybody can see it and say, that's the king. You know, many times people ask, how are we going to know who's the real Mashiach? You know, I can tell you that I am acquainted and I meet maybe 50 candidates every week. People send me emails, I am the Mashiach, we have to meet. We have a folder for all the Mashiachim. I told you already, we get hundreds, if not thousands of emails coming in, pouring in every day. So we have a folder for all the emails of the ones who think they're Mashiach. And they have all the credentials, and sometimes it's real funny because most of them are hanging out on Facebook. And we get emails such as, I am the Mashiach, it's extremely important that we meet. I'm like, really? I didn't think that Mashiach is going to have a Facebook account. But nevertheless, there are many, many Mashiachim, but there's only one who's the true Mashiach. And how are we going to know who's really the Mashiach? Can you imagine how many people now even, there's some cuckoo now, I shouldn't even say cuckoo, but I take it back. But there's some guy now that has videos online and he says that he's the Mashiach. Now, what do you believe such a person? So, you know, somebody also emailed me not too long ago that he's the Mashiach and it's very important that he meets me. I said, if you're Mashiach, what do you need me? Well, what do you need me to come now and meet you? If you're the Mashiach, you have all the answers, you need to meet me? Why do you need me? So, nevertheless, you, the Mashiach, you have the solution. And another person also emailed and he said something along the line that very soon, now nobody believes that he's Mashiach, very soon everybody will believe. So I said, you know what, when you reveal yourself, I'll believe too. Right now, you're going to the folder of the wannabes, and I don't know. When you reveal yourself, I will believe too. How do we know who's the real Mashiach? Don't worry. When Mashiach is going to come, his face, you're going to look just at the face. You're going to know that's the Mashiach. There's not going to be a doubt who's the Mashiach. Why? Because the real king radiates light. We're going to see that. Our sages also said that the kings came from the lineage of David. They all, the crown that was placed on their head always fit perfectly on their head. That's what our sages say. And it's not necessarily talking about the physical crown that they put on the head. Rather, the position itself. A real king, he doesn't need a crown on his head. How he carries himself, how he runs the show, that's a real king. And we need to find the real king. Now, how is that to do with us? Because we don't have the ability to really find the real king. By the way, and this is agreed by most, Mashiach is already here. There's no question that he's already here. Some people think he's there, some people here. He's here in the world right now. And exactly where? I don't know. Of course, most opinion will tell you he's in Eretz Israel. He has nothing to do in America right now. He's in Eretz Israel. But there's no question that he's here, because the Mashiach has to come tonight. What do you think? We're going to have to wait for a baby to be born? It's a human being. It's a human being, and he's at least 13 years of age. That's it. And he's here. Who he is, I don't know. Some people say they know who it is. Some people, I'm not saying regular people, some great rabbis. There's a great tzaddik in Tveria, Rav Kook, he says he knows who's Mashiach. And he sees him. But nevertheless, there's no question that he's here, because if he has to come and redeem us tonight, it's a person that is alive. And it is a person. There's a clear prophecy, there's many prophecies, but a clear prophecy from Yeshayahu v'nachal av ruach Hashem, that the Spirit of God will dwell on him, ve'adad ha'aretz et Hashem, he's going to start teaching Torah and so forth. But nevertheless, we don't have the ability to start looking who's the Mashiach. But we're very close to the parasha of Korach, sorry. We're now in Parashat Naso, and the diaspora in their Parashat Bamidbar. In a few weeks, we're going to read Parashat Korach. And at the time of Korach, there was a real king. There was a Moshe Rabbeinu. Can you imagine that a large amount of the nation went against Moshe Rabbeinu? This is not Bibi Netanyahu. This is Moshe Rabbeinu. No offense to Bibi. I mean, I have respect for him, but this is Moshe Rabbeinu. I told you already, there's a story, I said that story many times, I don't want to repeat the whole story. The rabbi, who's the founder of the Satmar movement, Satmar Vishnitz, he's known as the Ismach Moshe, Moshe Teitelbaum, Rabbi Moshe Teitelbaum. He's known as the Ismach Moshe. That's the main book that he has. It's called the Ismach Moshe. Unbelievable teachings. And he said to his students at some point that he saw all his incarnations. He knows all his reincarnations. And he says that he remembers very clearly when he was at the time of the argument of Moshe Rabbeinu. And his students asked him, okay, if you were at the time then, he told them how he remembered very clearly the machloket with Korach. And of course they'll ask him, which side did you take? And he said, just that you know, most people went to the side of Korach. So they told him, so who did you take? He's like, I was neutral. I didn't take anybody's side. I was not here and not here. He said the Yetzer Hara, the power, was so strong, everybody went against Moshe Rabbeinu. That's what he says. And of course he continues saying, this can be found in the Akdama, in the introduction to the book Ismach Moshe. He says how remember he was also one of the Yaakov Avinu's sheep. I told that story in Chanukah a couple times. But nevertheless, this is the high soul in the nation of Israel was a sheep of Yaakov Avinu. You know, Yaakov had 6 million sheep. And he had to give Maaser, 10%. He gave 600,000 sheep just Maaser. That's how much sheep Yaakov had. He was a gazillionaire. So puts Bill Gates to shame. But nevertheless, so the Ismach Moshe explains how he was present at the time of the Machloket, and the majority went against Moshe Rabbeinu. How do you go against a Moshe Rabbeinu? You see with your own eyes that he goes up on the mountain. You saw with your own eyes that he's the one who took us all out of Mitzrayim. He does all these miracles, speaks to Hashem. And you go against the Moshe Rabbeinu? This is, it's hard for us to fathom that you go against the leader. And what was the result? The ground opened, swallowed everything. Anyone who was around, the ground swallowed them. Not just to teach me how severe is Lashon Hara. It's just to teach me, you go against the Moshe Rabbeinu, the ground will open and will swallow everything. It swallowed their houses, their possessions, anybody that was just around. That's, again, just a severe warning of Lashon Hara. Don't be attached to Lashon Hara in any type of way, because when the person will be pulled down, you get pulled down with him. So, we don't have the ability to choose a Mashiach, or to detect who's the Mashiach. But we have to understand that there are many, many leaders in our generation. You know that Bezrat Hashem today Mashiach will come. You know what he has to do right away? He has to form a Sanhedrin. Right away. You know what it means? It means that right now, in our generation, there are 71 rabbis who are going to be appointed to the Sanhedrin, and Mashiach is going to pick them. You. You know what that means? That we have 71 unbelievable sages in our generation that we can't even fathom that these are going to be these rabbis. Can you now in your mind imagine 10 of them? Who would you choose in our generation? Who would you choose in our generation who says, ooh, him for sure. Him, no doubt. Okay, let's say you have your 10 favorite rabbis. What about the other 61? So it means there are some great people in our generation, and you know why you can't point them? Because either they're so humble and quiet you never even heard of them, or that everybody's against them. Him? No. So we have a very strong obligation to see who's worthy here to be the leader, and not to be very careful not to go against them. You see people slandering rabbis left and right. And the ones who are being slandered are the ones who speak truth. I know that I'm a big fan of the internet, but I know there are a few hits on the internet. Hits, I mean popular rabbis. And you know what? The more the rabbi is popular, if he speaks truth, everybody will go against him. And I don't want to say names now, but there are some dominating rabbis in the internet world because that's where you spread your Torah. That's where you have a crowd. You speak in a yeshiva, how many students you have? 20, 30? I mean, now an average rabbi online has more students than the greatest sage in history. So the thing is that in our generation, the great ones are not being promoted. They either will be completely hidden, that you don't even know who they are, or they're going to be constantly pointed out. He's a fraud, he's a fake, he's this, he's that. What do you want from me? Not me. I mean, why are you doing that? So we have an obligation here as the nation to recognize who are the leaders. Why? Not because I need to define the leader, to be careful not to go against that leader. You know what it means? We're going to learn very soon now. After this class, we're starting now the next class about Parashat HaShavua. We're going to talk a lot about learning Torah and the level of a Talmid Chacham. You know what it is to go against a Talmid Chacham? The Torah tells you this, don't go against a person that has Torah in his hand. Don't even try to go against that person. The Kadosh Baruch Hu has so much favor in the eyes of a person who learns and teaches Torah. Don't even go into this territory. So the Torah is coming and telling me, look for the person that is fitted to be the leader. And you don't have to do anything. Just recognize this is the choice of Hashem. When Mashiach is going to choose the Sanhedrin, there's not going to be elections. Mashiach is going to choose. He's going to choose us with a divine inspiration, Ruach HaKodesh. He's going to see he's the one. And I can guarantee to you that the members of the Sanhedrin, you're going to be shocked who's going to be on the board of the Sanhedrin. It's not going to be the rabbis that you think it's going to be. And then a lot of people will say, okay, who's the great rabbis in our generation? Rav Kanievsky, okay, this rabbi, that rabbi. It doesn't mean they're going to be in the Sanhedrin. It could be that they're going to be great sages. I can guarantee to you that everybody will be shocked. Who's going to be sitting in the Sanhedrin? Him? Yeah, him. You made him this big. Now you're going to be shocked. Who's going to be sitting there? Why? Because in the eyes of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, things look completely different. So I like taking this sfira, this Hod of Malchut, is to understand very soon Mashiach is coming. There's going to be Malchut. There's going to be Malchut Bet David, Malchut Bet Mashiach. There's going to be a Malchut. Malchut is a kingdom, a kingship. There's going to be around the king a lot of ministers, a lot of sages, a lot of judges. There are people around us. We have to recognize the ones who are going to be part of this kingdom, and to be sure that I'm not going. It's very, very popular, very enticing also to go against. You see now a lot of rabbis are being laser beamed. He did this, he raped, he touched, he embezzled, he cheated. Whoa, don't jump so fast. Some of it is 100% sure, 100% true. But many of them are innocent, they didn't do nothing. And their name is being bashed all over the place. Not going to name now some names. Some of them it's 100% true, some of them is not. You have to be very careful who you're judging. You have to see who's the real leader. And you know why? Because you want to follow the real leader. And now, before Mashiach comes, it's not a big chokhmah when Mashiach is here, is you want to find who's the real leader. The real leader is when the face is shining, that's the true person. I told you already last week, when I had a big confusion, when I became observant, how am I going to find my rabbi? I couldn't find a rabbi, because every person that I attached myself to, I found out, okay, this guy's a liar, this guy's a thief, this guy cheats, this guy talks Lashon Hara all day long, this guy has an agenda. I couldn't find any normal or authentic person. And then miraculously, I met the right person who told me a few key things to follow. And he says, if you see a rabbi that does this, or this, you move yourself like fire from that person. And that was the way to find it. And he gave me a few key points. How you want to look for the real one? Because the real one is the one who's going to really teach you, lead you, inspire you. There's no agenda. There's no control, money, power, whatever. I'm the best one. A real rabbi is not going to promote arguments, not going to promote disagreements, is not going to promote any type of cheating, lying, slandering, whatever it is. So that person told me, you see a rabbi talking Lashon Hara, move away. This is, I don't care if he has 10 ordinations. It doesn't mean anything. To get an ordination is not a big deal. Sit on your tuchas for a couple of years, you'll get an ordination. I'm talking about the real thing. So when we come to Hod of Malchut, we have to understand that the real Malchut, the real leadership, it has Hod, it has a shine. You see it on the person's, not only on his face, the entire person is shining this glory, this majestic glory, this Hod Sheba Malchut. You're saying, oh, that's a real leader. That's a leader that I want to lead us. It's very amazing how the next class is going to be very connected to what I'm saying now, because we're going to talk about from the parasha, about the Leviim, about the whole Shevet of Levi. They were the leaders. Shevet Levi was the leaders, the entire Shevet. So, and that's we're going to leave for the next class. But our obligation is to find the real leader. How? Because the person who has real leadership has Hod Sheba Malchut, will have this shine, this light, that the person says, oh, that's the real thing. That's the person that would lead me to a good place. You know, our sages say, who do you have to respect more? Your father or your rabbi? And our sages say, your rabbi. Because your father brings you to this world, your rabbi takes you to the next world. And if your rabbi is not taking you to the next world, he's taking you to Gehenom, why do you want to be attached to this rabbi? So you got to choose a real good person that says, that person is going to take me to the right place. If the rabbi is filling me with lies and cheating me or whatever because it's good for his reputation or good for his agenda or good for his repertoire, what kind of a rabbi is that? I need you to take me to Gehenom? I'm going to get there by myself. I don't need you to lead me to the place. I need a rabbi to take me out of Gehenom. They will tell me straight to my face, who are you pretending? Why are you pretending? Why are you doing this? This is not allowed to do. I don't like when I was looking for a rabbi, I didn't like the ones who are telling me, you're doing great, you're doing amazing. I don't need to hear this. I need to hear that I'm not doing good. I need to be more strict. I need to be more on top of my game. And when I'm doing something wrong, tell me. Don't start sugarcoating the situation and tell me you're doing amazing. I don't want to hear that I'm doing amazing. I want to hear when I'm not doing amazing. So again, Hod Sheba Malchut is to understand that the leader has a Hod, has this beautiful, majestic glory in that person. You want to start refining your midah to see this is the real leader, this is the fake ones. And Baruch Hashem, I shouldn't say Baruch Hashem. Unfortunately, we have many of the fake ones. And you know, it says when Mashiach is going to come, that's what it says in the Zohar, he's only going to have 500 followers. 500 students. Can you imagine 7.4 billion people in the world? 500 are going to be able to stand next to Mashiach. Because nobody's going to be able to stand next to him if he's full of lies, fake, or whatever it is. Nobody will be able to stand next to Mashiach. It says later on we'll have a few thousand. A few thousand people are going to be able to sit next to Mashiach. So now we have to make our choice wisely. Who am I attaching myself to? If I attach myself to a Korach, there's only one result. The ground will open. I need to attach myself to a Moshe Rabbeinu, and usually the Moshe Rabbeinu, I can guarantee to you, if Moshe Rabbeinu had a Facebook page, he wouldn't have a lot of likes. He wasn't popular then. Now he's popular. You know that all the great leaders that we had were not popular while they were alive. Anyone you'll point your finger on, they weren't popular. You know the Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria. You think anybody liked him here in Tzfat when he came? Nobody could stand. He had one student. That's it. He lasted here a year and a half, and then he said, okay, I understand I'm not wanted here. Shalom Aleichem. I left. And many others. Do you think Rabbi Nachman from Breslev was popular? He wasn't popular at all. Now he's popular. Moshe Rabbeinu, you think is popular? David HaMelech was popular? Who? They weren't popular. Nobody could stand them. Why? Because there was a real leader. Now, after 2,000 years, David HaMelech. David HaMelech had a few hundred soldiers around him, and that's it. And everybody else was against him. So the real leader is the one who's going to take you to the world to come, to Olam Haba, to Gan Eden, to lead you the right path. Find the right leader. And you know how you find him? Hod Sheba Malchut. You see the Hod, this majestic glory on the face, on the behavior. It's not only the physical crown, it's the behavior of the person. I can't imagine to see how Moshe Rabbeinu looked. Can't even imagine that in my mind. Or David HaMelech, to see the type, completely opposite from any type of ego or arrogance. Can you imagine how David, just to see it's unbelievable to think about it. So we have in our generation a few amazing people. To look at them, it's just mamash a pleasure to the eye. So Bezrat Hashem, we should merit to see with our own eyes the ultimate Hod of Malchut, to see the beautiful glory of Mashiach with our own eyes. That's also a huge merit.